Alright, Metalheads, welcome back to Third Party Throwdown, and today we're looking at the Daban 8819 Jagd Doga. And I have to say, just from starting out here, this is an amazing kit. It is absolutely awesome. So if you are on the fence about this one, hopefully this review really helps you to decide to go ahead and get this, because I'm going to show you guys all the features and things like that of this kit from the head down. So we're going to start off by, first of all, this thing is solid as a rock. I was literally throwing it. So it is very solid, as opposed to the Bandai, which is an RE100, and reports, around say it gets really loose. It's also a lot chunkier. This is not based off the RE100 necessarily. This is its own thing, using parts on the inside from the Sazabi as well as the Jagd Doga. And so this thing is its own little monster, and it is beautiful. It is basically Daban's master grade, because this thing is just awesome. It's just awesome. So we're gonna start off with the head. Yes, I just decapitated it because this actually has compatibility with the LED units that you can get from Bandai, and it comes with its own. I didn't have the battery that would fit in the Daban one, so I threw in one of my Bandai ones just to get an idea, but it's really awesome. I like this light piping and stuff like that. You guys, if you see my other videos, you know I'm really into LED units, or not units, but LEDs in general. And so it is kind of nice to not have to wire everything up, although this has plenty of possibilities for lighting up. So the head itself, that mono eye, is movable, and this is a really easy build. I knocked it out in just a couple of days. I'm gonna see if I can get the actual head off. There we go. So that just pops into the kit, but I wanted to pop off the head to show you guys that with a lot of kits, you get what you get, and you that's it. You don't get anything else. Daban has been really cool about putting in a lot of option parts for this kit. In fact, I'm gonna bring in, you get all this as well, so you can make the quest custom if you want. So there's a lot of options. If you want to mix and match, you can, so feel free to do that. But also show you some more about this head. It is very easy to pull off that front mask, and you can move that mono eye very easily and still get the same LED functionality. Or if you don't want to do the LED, it does come with this really cool jewel sticker that will reflect the light as well, that you can use. So moving on with the kit, let's take a look at the arms. So you got pretty good functionality. These really resemble some of those Zeta style kits, where the hands are, it's kind of meant to be where it's kind of bowed out. So you have the Zeta style kits, you have this little rubber right here that moves with the arm, or moves through the arm, so you kind of get like exposed piping. So I can turn that around, you guys can see that a bit better. So you get a bit of exposed piping right there, as well as these really cool armor shields on each side. These little areas right here are for the fin funnels, which they can fold up and can be stored up here. One of the reasons I don't have it stored up there right now is for another part I'm going to show you guys a little bit later. And they can just pop right back out. We do have a somewhat opening cockpit gimmick. So you can get that opening cockpit if you'd like. The one area that I really had a gripe with is the placement of some of the runners on this. Now this is a mostly undergated kit. It's mostly undergated, and one of the areas that they didn't undergate and it really caused me a lot of headache is right here in between the shoulders. That ended up being an area where the runner came up and I had to do a lot of sanding. I'm not really happy with that. Areas like that, if you're gonna undergate a kit, definitely want to make sure you put that there, but otherwise pretty good as far as that goes. I mean, that if that's like my major gripe about a kit, like one or two bad placements of nubs, you can go ahead and get an idea of where my review score is going on this. The articulation is okay. For a big kit, you get quite a bit of articulation. Keep in mind this is based on the Sazabi. We're gonna take a look at the hip skirts. Now in my last review, I was looking at the Mark II Super Gundam, and I was complaining about the hips. And that is not present here. This thing fits well. We got good articulation. I know other reviewers have said they had issues with keeping the legs pegged. On mine, I am not having that issue. So I don't know if it was maybe just their print of it or whatever, but I'm not having that same issue. So right here, we have placements for the holding the beam saber handles, and we'll get to those in just a little bit. So both of those open up. On here, it actually has a little, I can get a hold of it, my fingers here. Let me try the other side. A little sliding gimmick, so you can have some exposed inner frame, which would be really cool for those that like to paint and things like that. And that also is on the back side. You get that sliding gimmick as well, which, hey, that is just, can't say no to a good sliding gimmick, right? So moving on to the legs, and of course, as you can tell, this thing is pretty highly detailed as it is. I mean, no complaints on the detailing whatsoever. One area of concern on the legs is make sure that when you're doing it, right here, that you are not bending from the knee. You're gonna want to bend the knee joint, this part, down first. Otherwise, you're gonna end up popping out this little sliding piece. So you're gonna want to make sure to do that. That's one little complaint. So on to the legs really quick. And so right here, you may notice that it does have some pretty cool panels. There are some little hooks and joints in here that you can pop these loose and have a good old time doing some cool flight poses. So you can get some pretty sweet flight poses off of this and really open it up to however you want. There are just a ton of thrusters everywhere. On the foot, You do get some pretty good motion actually for the size. We do have a toe bend and everything like that that you can play around with and get some cool poses out of this thing. As far as the main kit goes, I mean, this thing is honestly, and I don't really like this term because I think all kits have their own merits, but this is possibly what they would a Bandai killer. Like, I have very little fitting issues, and as you can see, I'm just manhandling this thing right now, and it's still for the most part staying on. So you do get a backpack with thrusters and all that. It does have another opening gimmick here. So once again, for those that really love detail painting, this kit is going to be for you. There are lots of details and everything like that. We have our fin funnels, and I'm going to be displaying this kit with the fin funnels off because it does come with another accessory. Now, it doesn't come like this. It comes with these being straight. I used the hot water method to kind of bend them in the shape that I wanted. But what this is for, and this actually attaches to the backpack. You see that little connector right there? It just attaches right in there and it's super solid. That's one thing about this kit. Everything is super solid. You know, a lot of people think third party and they immediately think, oh, flimsy. This thing, I honestly, if I gave this to you and said it was a Bandai kit, you would have no problem believing me. But these fin funnels actually fit onto this. It holds really well. And so you get that really cool fin funnel effect flying around it. Absolutely love this, and really glad they included this in this kit so that you can do this. So that is a really cool thing to have. You also get a shield, and this is not a sticker. This is actually part separated plastic. So all that is part separated. It attaches to the arm. You got a little swivel hinge. It does have some options of utilizing just a blank faceplate instead of the Xeon sigil. This is because you can use this to make the sleeves version as well, and it does come with those parts. It's a really cool looking shield. I can't wait to detail this and, you know, make it look real good. Speaking of Xeon stuff, you get the parts. I only brought out some of them to make the unicorn version, including the Jagd Doga shoulder. So you can make that as well. You will need to use some parts from the main version, but it's not that big of a deal to get that all set up. But it looks really, really nice. It's nice that they're giving you these options to mess around with. Now onto the weapons. You get 2 different rifles. This one, I love the clear parts on going through both sides. This is not Bandai, that's how you do it, because I always hate it when it has a clear part here, but nothing on the back to actually make it feel like it has a scope. So this is how you do it. You can always paint that with a clear red if you want. Myself, I'm probably, since I am using the LED unit, this would also fit over this, so I'm probably going to use that for there. And I got some of those types of things that I might do on the other side as well. Got a little bit of motion right here with this handle. Otherwise, it is a static weapon. It looks really good. There's some good detailing in here that once it is all said and done and painted and everything like that, it's gonna look really, really good. You also have a secondary machine gun style rifle. This one also really, really good. Obviously, you know, with weapons, you're gonna have some seam lines to take care of. And on to one of my favorite things about this kit, Beam Saber. I don't know what it is about this. I don't know if it's because you get these really cool beam effects with, like, you know, jagged edges and everything like that, but and how it stores, but also the fact in this weapon you're also getting a switchblade of some kind, you know, a knife. I absolutely love daggers and handguns on mecha. You know, I think they are it just makes me so happy. So now to hold that, you got a couple different options for hands, and you're actually getting several full sets of hands, and they are, you know, you don't have to pop off the polycap every time. These are swappable, so you can swap them very easily, but I wanted to show you the different options. You get your beam holding hand, you know, movable thumb, everything like that, with a trigger finger. You get a holding hand. We do have a closed fist, and something that surprised me, and I'm not a huge fan of these, but I know people that are. You get a really good articulated hand with articulated fingers. They're semi-articulated. You don't get the ends. It's just kinda, but it's a nice touch that they put in there. I like these hands. They're just not my favorite types, but they're still pretty good if you want to do something very specific, like pointing at somebody or doing something not safe for YouTube. You do get some foil stickers, mainly for the sleeves. You want to make this into the sleeves. Of course, you could always paint them, as well as the eyes for the head sculpt. Also get a sheet of water slide decals that come with this. So you do get a whole lot in the box for this kit. So let's go on to the score for this kit. For overall appearance, I'm going to give this thing a 95. Daban just knocked it out of the park with this kit. It looks great, tons of panel lining opportunities, and highlighting detail work can be done. Just looks really, really good. As far as the ease of the build, I am going to knock it a little bit, just because there were a couple tight-fitting places, but I mean, that's me being nitpicky. The biggest thing was some of the nub mark placements that really got me. I did not care for how it was. The overall build quality, though, it's a 92. This thing's going to stand the test of time. It is awesome. It really is. There are some things that I wish they would have made a little bit better, but overall, aggregated, I'm going to give this thing a 92 overall. Daban really just knocked it completely out of the park with this kit. If you're a fan of Char's counterattack or large mobile suits overall, like the Sazabi, you definitely want to pick this kit up. It was an extremely smooth build, very little issues throughout the entire thing, and the extra option parts really make it worth it because you can kind of make it your own. And so with that, I'm going to absolutely recommend this kit. If you come across it, make sure you grab it. So thanks for joining us for Third Party Throwdown, and we'll see you next time here on MetalmanX Builds.